The only thing that gon' be normal is distribution. Normal folks gon' infuse some. Optimize your lineups and you feed the rest, you mute them. Turning it up, these numbers are loud. Peeping this game from a nimbus is wild. Making it rain. While I embrace all this risk, I'm insane. Talking about that best bell, I'm the best rest till into the next world. Guess I got next still. Best bell, I'm the best rest till into the next world. Guess I got next still.
Yo, how we doing today? Let's see here. My name is Felix Castro, former Bestball DK winner 2 years ago when the Rams won their Super Bowl. Today we were going to be, and welcome to Going Live. I am your host again, Felix Castro. Still getting used to this new home. And yeah, so today we're going to do a big board, and then afterwards we're going to go look at our exposures. I'm going to go ahead and fix this link to make sure that my guys know where I am at. So give me a hot second. Copy and go to Twitter X. To my peoples. Boop. Paste. Enter. Paste. Enter. Alrighty. Those are for my peoples. So let's see here. What we got here? Let's go ahead and pull up Underdog. Present. Share screen. Underdog completed. Let's go pull it up and we'll go straight to the drafts. And I believe we're sitting at like a 95%-ish. The little board. Oh, no, it's about 90 probably. 82%. Okay. Big board's about done. We did 69. We're going to leave it at that sweet number. 97%. Slowed down today. I thought it was going to be done by today. It'll definitely will not make the weekend. Or like throughout the weekend. And if that's the case, I can see the little board filling up as well. We're waiting on 11 people for a little board. So if you're out there and want the draft, feel free to join us today. Let's make a little Twitter post. We are now live. Oh, what? So, with this new little partnership that I have with Bradley Stalter and the Fantasy Plus Network, you will have my rankings throughout the whole year. It'll transition from Bestball to DFS after the fact. More DFS focused, I should say. But for the best ball summer, it will have my best DK best ball rankings. I haven't messed around with the Google Sheets yet, so I don't know if I can figure out how to do the Underdog. But DraftKings is pretty universal. That's such a sweet song. All right, we're waiting on 7 people for a little board. Let's go ahead and get that filled up. Get this draft on its way. Well, actually, you know what? While we're waiting for 6 more wonderful people, let's go ahead and pull up our results. I think live Bestball? No, not live Bestball. nobody needs to see my 9 teams in golf completed exposures. So just a heads up, we are still waiting on 6. And so my current exposures are with 72 teams. We have an abundance of Justin Fields, 27% tied with Justin Herbert. So 20 shares of both players out of the 72. It was Justin Fields by a whole head until he ended up going to the Steelers. And I have slowly crept up with Justin Herbert and a lot of Will Levis lately. Actually, Will Levis when I can get him, honestly. He goes a little bit higher. I think they're kind of all in this year with him. And if it kind of busts, they're kind of – I think they could see like them just dissipating everything really quickly and trying to get a quarterback. Like if it doesn't go well the first 4 weeks, I can see him like selling everything. But that's here nor there. Did I not send it to paste? There it is. Oh, there we go. All right, get off the Twitter X. Actually, pull up Twitter X. Oh, no, Felix, focus. We are looking at your exposures. So, Fields, Herbert, Levis. Surprisingly, Patrick Mahomes. I tried to, like, not do so much, but he kept falling where I was getting a lot of the back end picks, so I was getting a lot of Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes. Daniel Jones. And I was drafting Rashee Rice fairly early. With them getting rid of their cornerback, did he go to Tennessee, I believe? I kind of see them being a little bit defensive deficient, on the back end, so it might lead to more shootouts. I'm more excited to see who they get in the draft. Probably check to make sure we're not in a draft, actually. 10 to 12, we'll look at running backs, and then we'll come back after we're done with wide receivers and tight ends. So my number one owned running back is Ray Davis. He's a little bit older, but if you're drafting Ray Davis, if a team's drafting them, he's coming in for immediate work and for, like he's going to have not a workhorse load, but he's going to get goal line touches and early down work, I think. What probably be a really good fit in Buffalo. Not that I don't think James Cook couldn't handle a workload. I just think that he would be a good fit there to play off of James Cook. James Cook is a decent pass catcher, electric. You need somebody to get the hard-earned yards, and that can be Ray Davis. Obviously, Chase Brown, highest owned running back. I owned second to Najee Harris last year. I still believe in the talent. I think he's Blake Corum-esque. People don't like Blake Corum. I like Blake Corum, so it's a little bit different of opinion. And actually, speaking of which, people think that I'd be higher on Najee Harris this year, but Jalen Warren's going the exact same spot. A few picks. Well, he was going a few picks before. I think that's why I'm headed that direction. Let's go ahead and double check, make sure the draft isn't going. Draft is starting. Let's go ahead and jump in. We got the 6th spot. Super Smash Bros. That's a cool name. It's a cool name. Bend over, I'll show you. Daddy 15, various life changes, go Yachty. Real big dude. Pink pig skin shimmy. Sabes 8807. Malolf. Daddy D15. Quirm. That is all that is in this room. I don't know a single person. A lot of no badges, though. Only like, what's it, 2 badges? Daddy and Bend Over. Yay, Dennis, Derek. Thank you for showing up, my guys. How we doing today? What time are you drafting? Sorry, I was trying to multitask the exposures and looking at the draft board. Doing the alphabet soup today? No, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do. I don't know if the little board's gonna be up next Tuesday, but if we do it, we're gonna do the last names next week. We're gonna do last names next week. Today we're gonna keep it traditional. Keep it traditional. I haven't drafted a team where I just got my guys lately, so. Let's see here. A lot of running backs to start off with, so we're going to take Chase at 6. Heavy RB room. Life changes, goes with CMC, not a surprise. Brees and Bijan at 3 and 4. Tyreek and CD at 2 and 5. Okay, so nothing too wild after that. I think it's the Brees pick that kind of threw everything off there. Maybe it's the Hill. Amon Ra. Puka Nakua. Jahmyr Gibbs goes to Daddy. Garrett Wilson goes to Quirm. And bend over, I'll show ya. Gets AJ Brown and Kyron. Or he's going to AJ Brown, Drake London. What are we thinking here? Taking a long time on this turnaround pick. If he didn't have an idea what he was doing. Devontae Adams. Okay. Not bad. Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. I like the it's like a little bit of play. I mean, if you're gonna, that they're gonna get work. Though it kind of scares me in that offense. I mean, if they don't get a quarterback right in this draft, AOC had weird games and like weird scripts where he would just like auto lock on Devontae Adams, and then some games where he would just like straight up ignore him. So we just don't know what kind of player we're gonna get. Drafted Dave. I want Malik Neighbors in the third. Why is he in the second now? We're gonna grab Devin A. Chain and hope that Malik Neighbors comes back to me. I feel like Devin A. Chain's gonna be like the pick I'm getting wrong most time. That was a battle yesterday. Dude, that was a hard draft yesterday. It was not easy drafting solely on letters and eliminating those letters when drafting them. I drafted 3 quarterbacks by round 14. Oh, this is silly hearts in the way. Hold on. There it goes. By round 14 earlier, got a call and auto picked 2 more. Was so pissed. Yeah, so I did a draft yesterday, and I just was like a $3 draft. So I was at work, and I just had it going, and I was doing it, and then I was like focusing on my work. I come back, I have 5 quarterbacks. I didn't get any more receivers, and I had drafted a double elite tight end pickup, or elite-ish, right? And I ended up with like some other scrub tight end and like 6 running backs. It was awful. It's like a 5. Was it a 5, 6, 7? 8? No, it was a 5, 5, 5, 7, 3. I think that's what it was. Yeah, 5, 5, 7, 3. It was not good. Thankfully, I drafted a 0 RB, so it kind of like didn't hurt. It was like 0 RB with decent spandage at tight end, so it didn't feel like terrible. But the quarterbacks are just like, what in the world? Still didn't get any shares of Bo Nix, thankfully. Malik Neighbors is still there. There's a possibility. These RB bros out here, it may not take them. A real big dude grabbed him. Oh man, this is a tough pick. I feel like Chris Olave is a great pick here. 6 picks past 5 picks, 6 picks past ADP in this early of a round, and I like his talent. I mean, if we can get this and get Cooper Kupp as well, like I'll be smiling to the bank. I think. Oh, don't you know? Michael Pittman Jr. This guy's pretty much stuck to ADP. What, you stuck to ADP? No, you got a nice little Detroit stack. Okay. Got a little Ram stack. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Cooper Kupp, gets the full Ram stack and has a naked Josh Allen. It's not a bad pick, or not a bad way to play it. Because Matt Stafford could like have an elite game, but easily outscored by Josh Allen's rushing ability, which is I think is higher this year versus other years because of not having Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. And I think the passing rate is going to go down some just based on like how they utilized James Cook after they switched from Ken Dorsey. What you got going on here? I have 0 clip this year. That's wild. Maybe 1 or 2 drafts. Yeah. Actually, I'm a little lower on him. I think once I actually fill out my rankings, he'll show up a lot sooner than he's currently being drafted. So I'll probably have 30 to 40% Cooper Kupp based on where I think I'm going to have him and where he usually goes. I'll probably have him right at I'll probably have 35. And again, he goes before the 4th round. He'll have to be a 3rd round pick for me, which means I'll have to bypass Marvin or Jalen Waddle occasionally. Well. I'm sure it's a very popular duo. But stacking is good, and I like it. It's not too terrible. They could easily ping pong weeks and excel in the same week. It's not like too wild to think about. So I've got a 5-9-3-3, mostly auto picked. Yeah. I thought I know for a fact I changed my auto draft settings. So they must have like got rechanged back. I don't know how to say that correctly. Got reversed. Should have got Jalen Waddle over Chris Olave. I would have had a bet on the Miami Cincinnati's. Oh well. Looking back at it, 2020. Oh well. Go ahead, hit that like button if you're new here. Hit the sub button. Goes a long way for getting us found. Good call. I forgot about the auto draft limits. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go double check. Make sure that's set up in case I fell asleep. So the first year that they dropped, or the first time they dropped PBM was that? Is that PBM 4? Whatever BBM was last year. I think it's BBM 4. Yeah. I was doing the drafts until I literally fell asleep, and I ended up auto drafting one team, and it was like 1 tight end, three. It was really messed up. It was like 1 tight end was Kyle Pitts, and 3 quarterbacks that weren't any good. Or no, it had 2. It had Jalen Hurts and then two other quarterbacks. It's like the team core combination didn't make any sense. I think we can push Joey B here and take Trey McBride. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll take Joey B on the comeback and take Trey McBride here. I think he's an elite talent. I'm personally scared of Tank Dell. I know he could come back and be elite again, but there's a lot of mouths to feed, and I don't know if he's mouth number one in that offense now with Stephon Diggs there. I'll have some shares of him. Actually, this would probably be a great place to get him when he's almost 20 picks past ADP, but I'll wait for BBM. Someone's going to get a heck of a deal on him, though. Tank Dell goes to this team. Do you know the limits on RBs? I don't think there is. I think it's like 10, maybe. I got 5 or 6 Q or 6 Q. I got 5 or 6 1 QB builds with just Josh Allen. Yeah, I'm actually not opposed to that. I might be doing the inverse on that kind of build. I'd be like 1 tight end because the year I won it with 3 quarterbacks and essentially 1 tight end. My other tight end had a season-ending injury, Robert Tonyan that year, and Rob Gronkowski was my 1 tight end, and he even put up a 0. He put up a 0 week 16, I believe. Might have been week 15. And snuck that team through. So Gronk ended up being like 3% owned and put up like 30 points. So, yeah, I hit the luck box on the tight end, but at the same time, you kind of have to hit lucky, I think it's viable. I think the one piece of the solos is a great way to attack it sometimes. It's not in my comfort zone. I do like to have 2 or 3 quarterbacks. Yeah, and I don't know. I just think you could have like if you found like a 10th round Evan Ingram, like I wouldn't mind getting him solo. Like I wouldn't mind an Evan Ingram solo, depending on what his schedule looked like. How did CJ Stroud not go? All right, good. We're gonna grab Joey B here, not mess around. Don't want to mess around when you get an elite pairing of Chase and Higgins on the team. I really like how this is turning out so far. I actually have almost 0 shares of JSN this year. Maybe we turn that around today, as he was one of my highest owned last year. I know it's 5 quarterbacks. I just don't know the max at running back. I think it's 10. I could be wrong, though. I think it's 10 on auto. I don't know if there's a max you can draft. Obviously 17, right? Or like 16. Just think it's hard to go to Tynan versus Josh. It can happen. They always seem to miss a week or 2. Allen, Mahomes, Hurts are all probably the only quarterbacks I'd be willing to go 1 quarterback. But I have only done it with Allen. True. I pretty much did 1 draft earlier this offseason with Herbert. I waited too long, got Herbert, and then it just kept getting worse and worse at the quarterback position, and I didn't want to waste the pick. I was like, well, if Herbert's not good, we're just gonna have to deal. Let's see here. What else? True, I'll try anything. Yeah, dude. It's all about trying. I'm so high on Jadavian Sanders. I'd run with him as my only tight end. Dude, if that's how, if you think he lands in a good spot, it's not terrible. Terrible idea. Okay, I see Kyler here. I think he could last. I think I need another wide receiver before it just drops off a little bit. So I like Addison, but people that know me know that I love me some Christian Watson. I think this year versus last year, it's hard because I like to make stands at certain areas and take picks back to back. But I feel like the board is sufficiently correct this year so far. I'm gonna have to go, and when I go through it, it's gonna feel a little bit better, And again, we'll have rankings out on Fantasy Football Plus Network on the website or DraftKings, and we'll see if I can implement it for half point PPR. But no promises on that one. And it'll also be live on my Patreon at Bestball Nation, as long with so I do interviews and I run a fantasy football league over there. It's free to enter. $200 to first place. Bestball Nation on Patreon. It's $5, I guess, to sign up to support my adventure on becoming a content creator, but obviously I'd wait till August to do that if you only want to do the league. But $2 million to first. No. $200, Mr. Derek. $200. Doll hairs. But it's been fun being over here. A new outlet for myself over here on the Fantasy Football Plus Network. He's going to have my rankings, and it's a good place for information and other people with like-minded, thoughts. I may write a couple pieces. We'll see if I do it, but it's not my specialty is writing. Look who we have here. We got ourselves a little bit of a falling Najee Harris. And if you know me, we love us some Najee Harris. Look, I'm not reaching for Najee Harris anymore, especially in the big board. What I realize is that if I push him too high now, when the BBM starts, his stock is going to be too high, right? So what my thought process was like, if I don't draft him / don't raise his ADP, then he's at a good spot for BBM, and I can get all the shares I want in BBM, hopefully, right? Is that a good thought process? Like, because nobody else is like in love with Najee Harris like I am. You know what? If for some reason Cincinnati face off against Pittsburgh, Najee Harris has produced very good numbers against the Bengals the last couple of years. It wouldn't be a bad play. Little AFC North Conference, their division rivals. Set my dynasty startup. We are currently in the 26th round. I'm a few picks behind because of trades. All right, we will look at it after this 9th round pick. Pull up Twitter at the same time. Mr. X. I don't know who Sorif is. Please visit my gig. I will do YouTube videos, SEO. I'm going to go ahead and block you. It's nothing personal, but it's not what that's about. Okay, so we're sitting at a 1-2-4-1. We can go anywhere, honestly. Oh, Xavier Worthy with the potential of going to Kansas City Chiefs feels good, but I really like Zamir. Also like David Njoku. That was a tough area. That was a tough area to pick from. Let me go ahead and pull up Derek's Dynasty Startup. Pull it in. Open new image, new tab. Bada bing. Bada boom. Stop. Present. See what we got here. Let's see what we got. Boom. Stream Studio. Perfect. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. I'm assuming, I believe it's a super flex. Devin A-Chain, Kenneth Gainwell, Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, Chuba Hubbard. Okay, Hall, A-Chain, studs. Ayuk, stud. Deontay Johnson, good sleeper. DK Metcalf, awesome. Tight ends. George Kittle. Yeah, George Kittle. Hopefully Juwan Johnson can become something, but with Derek Carr there, no hope. Yeah, your quarterbacks are going to lift you. If I'm like 90% sure you told me this was super flex the last time I saw it. And your receivers, yeah, your receivers, you're running like your tight ends are a little lackluster, right? Obviously, I'm not telling you something you don't know, but they have potential. They have like league winning upside if one of them like gets an injury to their like side, like Dawson Knox if Dalton Kincaid went down. Okay, I'm almost back on the clock. Bada bing, bada boom. Pick away. It says. Bada bing. We back on the same spot. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can see is. I mean, I love Brevin Jordan, but he hasn't proved he can handle it. Is Gabe Davis available? Gabe Davis is gone. That's unfortunate. Well, I think we'll grab Justin Herbert here to pair it up with Joe Burrow. My favorite quarterback combination, if I can. I would love to have gotten Trevor here and or Gabe Davis and then gone Trevor. But since I didn't get that combo, we are looking elsewhere. Go ahead and star these guys. So see it if they come up. $135. I think I could push Joshua Palmer and get Chase Brown here. But who's really looking to draft Joshua Palmer? Probably not too many people. Superflex started at 11.5. Started at 11. 1.5 tight end premium. I cut the team name out to keep it PG. Thank you. Raiders drafted back the first 2 rounds. Zamir is rough. Yeah, I definitely can see that, right? But if they don't draft a running back, Zamir is a 5th round pick, right? That's the way I look at it. Like in this scenario, Raiders end up drafting what they really need: offensive line help, a quarterback, probably a 3rd wide receiver since they let go of Renfro, and they kind of get tight end. Defensive back help. The defensive backs aren't great. They're not bad. Actually, they could be a lot better. So there's a world where they don't get a running back in the first 3 rounds. And or they might get one of these running backs that is more of a pass catching type, where he like a Chase Brown that I'm looking at, like a Chase Brown type. Like I could see him getting Blake Corum. He could definitely be a Raider, someone to bounce off with Zamir White. When Zamir White was doing his best work in Georgia, he had James Cook. So James Cook and Zamir White, nice little 1-2 punch. Well, Zamir White and Blake Corum, that sounds like a good 1-2 punch combo to me. Bunch of late tight ends who I like. Always likes Mallory. Yeah, he's always shown upside. Brevin Jordan, Johnson have like a 22 catch and 8 TDs. Yeah, makes sense. Darnell Washington could just stand over the corner as the end zone. He is big. He's a big dude. I can only imagine. Agree, but just push him out. Yeah. I mean, if they take Braylon Allen, you know what I mean? Like he's out. Teams. Yeah, I think the Panthers are almost a lock to draft a running back for sure. Yeah, dude, it would be pretty cool to be one of the few teams drafting him. Okay, we're gonna take Chase Brown here. Perfectly that he fell perfectly to us. 7 picks past ADP, or 5 picks past ADP. I thought it said 119 earlier. I must have been seeing something. 5 picks past ADP. And then hopefully grab one or both of these wide receivers the next 2 picks. Bada bing, bada boom. Bum, 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 dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, da, da, dee, dee, dee. 8 picks away. Josh Palmer's now on the cutting block of wide receivers that may go, but it's okay. Won't hurt my feelings. If Bend Over wants to draft both of them, I'll just take a bunch of rookie wide receivers. Not gonna hurt my feelings. Honestly, I'm not opposed to like just dropping this team off to 4 running backs if like there's not good value and just drafting a bunch of. I feel good at quarterback. I feel sufficient enough at tight end that I can push tight end till late, and we can just smash wide receivers right now. I know what a name. Bend Over. I'll show you. Fun name. Is there anything happening in the NFL? Let's see here. Who's Adam Schefter's the guy. Let's see what you got, Adam Schefter. Rams set out to capture what it takes to be an elite quarterback, playing 2 games in 5 days, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Bo Nix sucks. Packers have signed former tight ends, Eagles offensive liner Andre Dillard. Okay. That's a pretty big pickup for the Packers. Oh, Josh Palmer goes off the board, so we immediately snag Quentin Johnson. I think there's a scenario that the Chargers grab, either they trade back like a few picks with the Vikings. We grab Brock Bowers with that first pick, and then we draft our second receiver like Luke McCaffrey or something along those lines. I don't know who's second. Jermaine Burton, I could see fitting well with the Chargers. Ricky Pearsall would be fun. I think he's Cooper Kupp-esque. He could have that kind of impact on a team eventually one day. J.K. Dobbins? Holy cow. No, I'm good. I don't even think I think he's the guy to show who they draft the ropes. I don't think he's the guy. I got all my chips on the Cowboys drafting Jonathan Brooks or Braylon Allen. Got a ton of autographed cards. I didn't list for auction, just overpriced them for the off chance I'm right. Braylon Allen puts $2,000 in my pocket. $1,200 for Brooks. That's wild. We're done with quarterback. We have 2 elite quarterbacks, in my opinion. Dun, 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 dun. Did Dobbins already go? I'm curious. Dobbins. Okay, so Dobbins is still listed practically last round. That's interesting. That's interesting. Slow clock season is my nightmare. Literal worst. I'm on the clock. I've been shoving a bunch of Michael Mayer lately, and I think it pairs well. Having a nice little teammate over with him on the same team. Getting that little combo of teammates on the team feels good. Probably go Braylon Allen if he made it back to me. 11 picks away, so who knows? I like Roman Wilson here. When you guys are on the clock, what are you guys doing? Are you guys just solely focused on your board? Do you guys like to look at, players? Are you guys tabbing through each one, seeing what's available? What is your guys' draft tendencies? Love the new 1 hour clock. Slow draft is going really fast now. Why don't you just do fast drafts? I'm not anti slows. I did half slows, half fast last year. I had like little to no success last year in slows. I just ended up treating it like as a chore and didn't put much focus into it. I really didn't have the time to be doing the slows, so I feel like I should really only just do fast drafts and just focus on the drafts when I do them. Maybe do a little less drafts this year and just focus on the drafts that I do. No slows 5.55s for me. I think I have an edge in fast 5.55s. Of course, I have to win those tickets again this year. Won 5.55 tickets last year. Just say I didn't make any of the playoffs. He can end up being a Charger. It really doesn't really fit this team or fit that team, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals end up grabbing like a slot guy. Another guy I've been getting like a steam train for me. I like Jermaine Burton. I like Polk. Oh. Underneath the dresser.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
I don't care.
Okay. I try to get 3 quarterbacks, 8 wide receivers, 6 RBs, and 3 tight ends in this little board format by the end. Yeah, I mean, I was doing 3-7-7-3. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I think you can win it with any kind of construction you want to have. I find the wide receiver drop off is around round 8. Yeah, I agree. Is that round 8? For me, it's around middle of 7. Right here is like, I really don't want Mike. I'd rather have Jordan. Like, yeah, pick 80. And then I like to have myself some Gabe Davis, but I don't consider myself drafting any of these other guys. There's nothing wrong with these other guys, except they're the middling guys. They're the Nico Collins of this year. Like, easily could be what wins you this year is this area. I don't consider a fall off after last year where Rashad Bateman was the fall off area, and I had a bunch of Rashad Bateman. And if I would just like drafted a round or 2 more of Nico Collins, it would have been smarter. I mostly go wide receiver heavy early. I do as well. I think it's a good strat. I think it fits a lot of builds this year. I also feel like wide receivers are getting pushed up. So like if you don't get them early, you're kind of putting yourself in a tougher position later. So I see what you're saying for sure. Running backs, there's just so many rookie running backs. We just don't know the locations on where they're going to be. So I think you can kind of take advantage of just grabbing a bunch of these unknown location guys and taking advantage of that process. Yeah, I think honestly, I was watching some of Audric Estime's tape. He kind of looks like Najee Harris. I'm gonna watch some right now. I'm gonna Estime. I'm gonna rewatch that. Make sure like I'm not like going out of my brains here. Let's see here. What YouTube? What do you got? Oh, just Bomb Productions. I really don't like this guy. There's some places that I just don't care for their highlights, and Just Bomb Productions is one of those places. 10 picks away. Also, another place that could end up taking the Polk is the Chargers. I don't know how exactly he's going to draft, right? I don't know. I haven't been in his draft thought process lately. But there's a potential that he goes with them. Pena, that's funny you talk about that. Funny you bring that up because earlier I tweeted out that I've seen Vidal being picked on consecutive days. I hadn't seen him drafted all year really. And then the last couple days I've seen him drafted in a few of my drafts. And then I saw somebody else post about drafting Vidal. Where's this Vidal steam coming from? Because I mean I could see it, right? Like I don't think he is a day one starter kind of guy, but I could see him making a team. You know, what was the guy's name? The big guy that ended up being a starter in Denver that ended up moving to Los Angeles. Oh, he was a running back. He went from undrafted to the Broncos, played a little bit of special teams, made the team this past couple years. Not a couple years, so it was like 4 or 5. Whenever they went to the Super Bowl, I think he was the running back. RBs all time. Just AP. That was a weird timing. Weird time in our lives. He's a big fat guy. Where are you? What about career rushing leaders? Williams, Daryl Henderson. I'm on the clock. Put Malachi in there. Actually, I like Mr. Baker just a smidge more. Yeah, that was a good pick. Zach Stacy, Kyron. Where's my guy? I don't see his name. I guess he didn't hit any statistical thing, so I don't see him on here. Rams versus Patriots. Running backs. Final score. Todd Gurley's the running back? I thought it was somebody else. The full box score. CJ Anderson is who I was thinking of. Kind of reminds me of CJ Anderson. Now I got to go back and see if CJ Anderson was on that history. Where you at, CJ? CJ Anderson's never on the top 50. Really? Who would have thunk it? Billy Wade, Benny Cunningham, Daryl Richardson, Tommy, Trey Mason. Trey Mason, dude. Zach Stacy. What a time to be a Rams fan-ish out there, man. Go ahead and pause this Audric. I mean, he's a big dude. Maybe Leonard Fournette, like a Leonard Fournette, Najee Harris type is what you're going to get at Audric Estime, where he's not blazing, but he's getting what you need him to get kind of thing. So if you like the Najee Harris type running backs like I do, Leonard Fournettes of the world, then Audric Estime might be your guy. I don't know how many likes we got, but we should aim for 10, I think. Oh, no, 5. 5's good. 5's a good start. 10 is the ideal ending spot, but that's requires more people to be here. We'll take a little bit of Jalen McMillan, another Washington wide receiver at the wide receiver position. Right, I'm not crazy. Jalen McMillan was a Washington Husky. I would have thought Jalen McMillan would have been ahead of Jalen Polk. He's 6'1". I thought he was bigger than that. Am I missing a wide receiver from Rome Odunze? Is who I was thinking. 6'3". It's like, isn't there a big guy out of Washington? Rome Odunze. You never know. Take some flyers on these guys. Buffalo Bills and the wide receiver Jalen McMillan meet for a private workout. Well, he'd fill the Gabe Davis role perfectly. Let's see here. Give me a McMillan highlight. Well, out of the bowl game. Sneaky. A little bit of a body catcher, but everybody catches their own way. Dude, what an offense of receiver crew. It just shows you how good Michigan was this year. He had Polk, Odunze, and Jalen McMillan, and you guys couldn't beat the Michigan Wolverines. Go Blue. So in this draft, we're going to go ahead and get my boy Jatavian Sand, or not my boy, my boy's boy, my guy Derek. This guy, get Jatavian here. I don't know if it's a steal, but it feels good, right? This late in the draft. And then we're going to get these two running backs we've been kind of drafting, or kind of been hearing about, with Vidal and Blake Watson. And if those two go, someone drafted J.K. Dobbins. Okay. And then my guy. This is who I was drafting early. I didn't know that he messed his arm up in the Senior Bowl, but he seems to be okay from what I've kind of read. Rasheen. See if there's any updates. Resume browsing. Ali. What about Twitter? You got anything from me, Twitter? Rasheen Ali. Marshall's Rasheen Ali is a name your need to keep an eye on. 5'11", 206, 40 for 40. I've done pretty good with the steals of the draft. I was about the highest on Chase Brown last year, and I was on him before everybody was, before he had his workout combine last year. I've got a pretty good eye out for decent running back talent until they get to an absurd price, like what happened to Chase Brown last year. Once everybody saw him and was like, oh, look what he could do. That's what happened last year with Chase Brown. Year before, I was on Dameon Pierce before everybody was, and he ended up becoming a fourth round pick for some team. So I feel like I got a good eye out for running backs. For wide receivers, I've been hit and miss. I was pretty spot on with Treylon Burks. Obviously, I nailed Cooper Kupp and Jamar Chase, but those are kind of hard to miss prospects, and I just took advantage of rooms, not understanding the thought that this guy's going to go in. I like to draft to think about where those players may go next year and not just where they go this year. I think ADP is it's not real. I don't consider it real. I consider where you think they're going to go next year. Does that make sense? The ADP is just fake. I draft them where they'll go, where I would think they would end at the end of this year / where they should go next year. And so the whole thing changes at the beginning of the next one. That's how I like to draft. So when I was drafting Najee Harris 101, I was like, well, this guy will probably be the running back number 1. Was I wrong? Incredibly wrong that year. And then last year when I got him in the 4th round, the guy had 1,000 rushing yards. He had 8 touchdowns. He had some receiving work, not a lot. He lost a lot of that kind of work, but he was involved in the offense. And then this year he's going down in draft area. So I'm like, well, I don't think that his skill has gone away. In fact, they've brought in more running heavy offensive coordinator that can develop run schemes for Najee Harris and not have him running out of the shotgun. Najee Harris could easily have a 1,500 to 2,000 yard season this season, and I wouldn't be surprised. Just on the upside of having Arthur Smith there, who can develop an offensive run scheme better than just about anybody else. I'd throw Mike McDaniel out there because I haven't seen him not being able to do it with Raheem Mostert and Devin A-Chain. But between those two guys, they're pretty sharp guys. So having both of their running backs, I'm pretty excited about this specific combo of Najee Harris, A-Chain. All right, we're going to get Blake Watson here. So we got our team ended up being Jamar Chase, Devin A-Chain, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Trey McBride, Joey B, Christian Watson, Najee Harris, Zamir White, Justin Herbert, Chase Brown, Quentin Johnson, Michael Mayer, Roman Wilson, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Jalen McMillan, Jatavian Sanders, Kamani Vidal, and Blake Watson. I laughed because yesterday or 2 days ago we did a challenge of not doing the same letter as their first name. I would have been eliminated with these 4 J's. All right, let's go ahead and I know that this won't be in the exposures, but that's okay. So now we're going to check out our wide receiver exposure. Before I started doing drafts again, I don't know what happened. I mean, I know he got taken to the Jags, but he still wasn't like shooting up that early. But all of a sudden, these last 3 weeks that I started doing drafts, I don't know if people know. Obviously, I don't think anybody was in this draft that drafts with me, but he still went early. I at one point had 88% Gabe Davis. It's now down to 70%. Christian Watson, one of my favorite wide receivers. If healthy, he's a dominant wide receiver out there. Quentin Johnson, I've been pairing up with Justin Herbert, so that just kind of just correlation makes sense. Treylon Burks, I was high on before they brought in Calvin Ridley, and so that one's starting to come down a little bit. He could easily get traded somewhere and fit in, but we'll see. We shall see. DK Metcalf, I love him in the third, like in the middle to late third round. A dominant number 1 wide receiver in the third round. Feels nice. And then obviously I love Cooper Kupp. He won me $1 million and is in the 4th round. So if and when I can get him, I do grab him. Jalen Waddle, same thing. Those 3 wide receivers right there, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, those are my favorite wide receivers this year. Unfortunately, it's hard to pair those 3 up together. But, beggars can't be choosers. Palmer, and I didn't realize I had so much JSN. That is a little shocking to me. I must have gotten him a lot early on. George Pickens, okay. I think George Pickens could pop off this year. I don't really know, though. Like, if they bring somebody in, if Arthur Smith, really just hates wide receivers, we'll find out very quickly. And then at tight ends, still Noah Fant. I drafted a bunch of Noah Fant early, thinking, he's coming into his own. No more Pete Carroll. He's going to have a real coach, and then he gets taken back to Seattle. But they did get rid of their 2 other tight ends, so he could have more opportunities. So I'm still okay with having 30% Noah Fant. He could explode this year. We're not entirely sure about Geno Smith, but what's his name is there, Sam Howell. Maybe he develops a connection with him. Luke Musgrave, a big fan of his ADP versus all the other ADPs of the Packers. I feel like people are so scared of Tucker Kraft that I don't know. And then Chigakonkwo, touchdown machine. I'm big fan of Will Levis. And so I think, in the red zone, he provides a different kind of threat where you have to pay attention to the other wide receivers there, and he just might be left wide open kind of thing. Kincaid, I was taking a lot early, kind of fell off a little bit. I'm happy to have 16% though, of that. And I'll talk all the way to Trey McBride here. He's my favorite tight end of the last few years. I remember Eric Beinford from Spike Week, a friend of mine in real life. He was talking the world about Trey McBride about 2 years ago when he was a rookie. And I was like, I'll take a few shares. Rookies typically take some time to develop, right? And obviously, I was off that train this past year, thankfully. And I think it was actually due to Trey McBride having such an explosive end to his rookie year. I was like, oh, they can do it. So then I took a lot of rookies last year. So I'm not opposed to taking rookie tight ends, but there's not really any that I like this year. So I have 4 shares of Brock Bowers and I have 4 shares of Eric All. Eric All, he's coming off a severe ACL injury, but he was like a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Ended up going to Michigan. There was a lot of mouths to feed / they ran the ball a ton and, wasn't getting probably what he wanted out of it. He ends up going to Iowa, right? That is tight end premium school, right? Had like a 26 to 30% target share rate. and then tears his ACL. So I think he has unlimited upside. He could be George Kittle-esque, Noah Fant-esque. Like, he has extreme athletic abilities, hopefully still coming off this ACL injury. Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 2 of Going Live. And I've had a lot of fun going over my exposures. There probably won't be drafts next Thursday because the actual draft is happening next Thursday. I'm going to ask Bradley to see if he wants me just to go live and kind of broadcast with the draft for an hour. I don't know if he wants to come on and do a draft himself or a stream himself. So I'm going to kind of play it by ear with him, see what he wants to do with that. If he wants to maybe get a collective of us now, Fantasy Football Plus people, and have a conversation on that day. I'm not 100% sure. But I will be back live on Bestball Nation Tuesday, 8:15. If you guys want to subscribe to that channel, I would appreciate it. I'm on the road to 500. I have 330 and I've been stuck on that number for a hot minute. So I will take any new subscribers. So please, thank you. And then on this video, can you guys hit that like button? It would be cool and awesome. All right. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun, y'all. Later.